Hello, my name is Phil Jones from Rotowash, and I'm here today to show you how to assemble your M30B Rotowash machine, and also how to use it and also how to maintain it. The M30B machine is exactly the same principle in putting the machine together as the M45B, which is slightly bigger than this one, and our M60B XL, which is our largest machine. The principal difference between the three machines is the fact that this one just has the one jet, the other two machines have two jets. That's about it. So once you've opened your boxes, you take the base of the machine, just lift the forks up, like so. You take the handle and you place these areas here into the prongs that come up from the handle there. Just sit them into place. They should just drop in nicely, and then just turn the caps just to keep them in situ, like so. The cable, just take the top of the cable, form a loop, and then that sits into a cable tie, like so, and then just lip it over the hook, and that will prevent any damage from the electrical side of the machine. Back of the machine you've got a couple of wires as well. You have this one which comes from the pump, and that one comes up and is plugged into the socket on the left, which will say pump, and this one here goes up and is plugged into the right, which is, it says motor. That one goes to the motor. You can tuck these into the clips on the side of the machine just to keep them out of the way, like so. You'll also have the hose and an inline filter there, and that is a push fit, so you just push it up into the red ring, just hold the top of the tank, push it up, and that will secure it in place. And this is a push fit, like so. So if we just wrap the cable round the four pegs, we keep the cable nice and tidy. Good. So this just prevents the cable from lying on the floor, getting damaged, getting stuck underneath doors, cupboards, and so on. So just a little bit of protection, really. So, rotor cart. You have the handle of the rotor cart, you have two wheels. Simply fit the wheel into here, press here, make sure it's nice and secure. Same again, in it goes, press. This side of the machine you have a cable coming out to the base of the machine. This side, no cable. This is the only side that the rotor cart will fit. Hold the handle, just rock the machine over to the one side so that you can see the casters underneath the machine. The bottom bar just sits underneath the other side of those casters. You rest it, the gap, the handle, very straightforward. Put your foot behind, lift it up, away you go. So this is ideal for moving the machine from one area of the site to the next, up and down flights of stairs, steps, curbs, from one building to another. So if you need to take it outside of the building, this is the best way of transporting it. When you want to put the machine down, instead of just letting go and damaging the end of the machine, just put your foot behind it, gently lower to the ground. To remove, you have a disc, pull the disc out. Very straightforward. So, there's a front and back to the machine. Front of the machine's got Rotowash written in black. You have the tank and you have the cap to the tank. This is always the front of the machine. So whenever you're dealing with the machine, this is where you should be. If you decided against the rotor cart, or if you simply need to move the machine from one side of the room to the next, both hands on the handle, lift the handle up, Don't allow the handle to drop back down. So if you look at these areas here, lift the handle up, keep pulling up as you bring the handle back towards you. Then the casters, the built-in casters will stay down, brushes will stay up into the machine. And now you can quite easily move the machine from one place. Bring the handle into the upright position, the handle drops down, parked. That's its parked position. This side of the machine you have a block. This metal block prevents the handle from falling down. So if the machine is plugged in, someone walks past, the handle's not going to drop down. So in order to start the machine, you will need to lift this leg over that block. So you stand behind, one hand on the top, you rock the handle over. You don't need to lift the machine, just rock the handle over, bring it back towards you, click, turns it on, turns it off. And then that will start the machine up. And as you bring the handle down, you'll see the base of the machine drop. Now the brushes are on the floor and you have the full weight of the machine pressing the brushes deep into the textured hard floor or the carpeted area that you're about to clean. When you want to stop the machine, you just bring the handle back up. That automatically turns the machine off, and it also brings the brushes up into the base of the machine into its parked position. So, just looking around the handle, you've got the pad at the top. That's what puts the water down. So when you press the pad, that will release the water from the bottom of the tank through here out of the jet. You have a red switch here. This switch is an emergency switch. It's not an on-off switch. So if, for example, you're working the machine, you're working away quite hard and there's a hazard and you need to turn the machine off straight away, that turns the machine off and that will kill the machine dead. It isn't an on-off switch, it is an emergency switch. So once you've done that, you bring the handle into the upright position and then you reset the switch there. If you're in this position here, the brushes are on the floor, you're working away and you apply the emergency stop, the hazard moves away and then you reapply the emergency stop. The two brushes will immediately kick in at 650 revs per minute, which will be too much for the floor. So there'll be too much friction and you'll probably strip a gear. So always bring the handle into the upright position before you reset on that position there. Brush wear indicator. This will give you an indication of how much life you have left in the brushes. And you will see that there's a black line and an orange line. You feed that into the brush. If you see black, you're okay. If you start to see orange, time for a new set of brushes. And you can order those brushes from Clean Floors at rotowash.uk, or there's a telephone number on the front there as well. So this side of the machine you have a metal block. Yes, we've spoken about that. On this side we have the OPC switch. The OPC switch is a system that's built into all our Rotowash machines, so that if the handle is dropped accidentally, then what will happen is the handle will go down so far and then the OPC switch will cut the machine off. So it will automatically go dead. Bring the handle into the upright position, pull the switch up, that will reset the switch. On the side here you have a height control knob. The height control knob will dictate how much pressure the brushes will have on the floor surface. So on certain floor surfaces, let's say a hard floor, you need maximum pressure. So you would have it on the heaviest setting. And on the dial, you have a heavy weight and a light weight. So on a hard floor, you would have it on the heaviest setting. On a carpet, it will depend on what type of carpet you're working. So if it's a deep piled carpet, you'd have the lightest setting. If it's a Flotex carpet, you'd probably have it on the lightest setting. If it's a very short piled industrial carpet, you may well have it on the most pressure, so that you're forcing the brushes into the carpet fibres. And that is it. Very, very straightforward, very easy to put together. Once you finish using the Rotowash machine, then it's time to maintain it. Rotowash machines are like all other cleaning equipment, whether it's a mechanical device or whether it's a mop and bucket. When you're finished with your mop and bucket, you take it to the cleaning cupboard, you clean it out, you rinse it out, you clean the mop, you make sure the mop's nice and tidy and clean, ready for tomorrow. if you wouldn't leave your dirty mop in your dirty water, it would go nasty, it would go smelly, you'd be defeating the object of doing your clean tomorrow. Exactly the same with all forms of floor cleaning equipment. Once you've finished, you need to clean it. So you take it to the cleaning cupboard and give it takes 5 minutes, that's all. So it starts at the back, you have the dirty water tank tray at the back, take that away, empty, lift the flap, rinse. Clean the underside, you're going to get debris and hair and fluff on the underside there. The caution relates to the blade. The blade can get quite sharp. Even on a brand new machine, it can be quite sharp. So if you start cleaning like that, then that's not going to be very good. So always go that way, never across the blade. Just rinse out. Underneath the springs here, you're going to pick up hair, fluff, all sorts of dirt underneath those springs, so that will need to be cleaned. Easiest way to do that is rotate the brush backwards, the blue drum rolls down, and you can clean it quite easily. There's a hole here and a hole here. That houses the spindle, so just push the spindle head. That will push it out from the other side. Push. Brush comes out. Allow the hot water of the tap to hit the brush halfway. Rotate until clean water comes out of the bottom. Rotate until clean water comes out of the bottom. Put the brush in the bucket. Where the machine's going to get dirty is here, here, here and here. So just get a damp cloth or a microfiber cloth and just wipe all the dirt from that area. Front of the machine, you have the pump. Lift the pump up, turn it upside down, wipe the underside, make sure that's nice and clean. Put it to one side. Push, pull, take the pushes out, hot water, rotate, clean water, rotate until clean water comes out, put it into a bucket, wipe, 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 and that's done. If you're worried about where you've just cleaned and you're worried about how healthy the machine is, then you may wish to get a sanitizer spray and just spray the machine down the area, particularly the base of the machine, just to kill any bacteria that may be carried on the machine itself. Tomorrow you come to use the machine, the brushes are still in the machine, there's a good chance the last person didn't clean the machine down. If the brushes are still in the bucket, then there's a good chance that that person did clean the machine down and the machine is ready to go. So brush, on the inside of the side casings there are brush guides. So take the brush underneath the bar onto the brush guide, and then the spindle goes in this side, which is the side that you have the cable coming from the motor, and also where you have the height control knob. All that you need to do is just twist the bar as you push it. So into the hole, twist and push, line the brush up. When it gets to the other side, again just twist the brush, which twists the bar, and in it goes. The pump has slots, both sides, and pegs, so that just sits in the front, like so. Back of the machine, again onto the brush guides, cable side, into the hole, rotate, push, rotate, in it goes. The blade goes underneath the springs, just slide it home, in it goes. To empty the tank, you have the on-off tap here, just turn the tap down, release, or just turn it off first, release the sleeve here, just pull it back, and this tank will come off just by lifting the tank up and pushing at the back. Open, and you can empty the tank that way. To put back on, you have a hole at the top. Feed the hole into the spring that comes from the cross member there. Push it up slightly, rest it on its leg, push it, and you're ready to go. So we're just going to start the machine up, see how we get on with it. I'm just going to put a bit of water in there. This tank holds about 7 litres of water. But 7 litres of water gives you a full tank. It's quite a lot of water to be using, and quite frankly, you don't tend to need that much water. So what I would suggest is that you only put in half a tank. So just fill to approximately here, and that's going to give you quite a bit of water, and that will do quite a large area. If we're looking at chemicals through the Rotowash machine, then the chemical usage should be minimal. So we're looking at, if you're looking at half a tank there, you're probably looking at a cap, maybe 2 caps. Just check on the back of your can, see what the dilution rate is, and that should be fine. Be careful with the use of chemicals. They do need to be neutral. So it should be around a 7 on the pH scale. We don't want anything too acidic or too alkaline through the actual machine. Another method of using chemicals is to knock up a spray bottle, pre-spray the floor first, and then just use water through the machine. That is probably the best way of using chemicals with the Rotowash machine. So with a little bit of water in the tank, we've got the 2 top clips which are quick release. We plug this in. Just as we go to plug it in, just check the cable, make sure that there's no damage to the cable. Look out for kinks and cracks and anywhere that the machine may well have gone over the cable and damaged it. Plug it in. Front of the machine, Rotowash in black. Lift the handle up, bring it back for that transport position so you can move it to the place where you want to start your clean. Bring it up. Check the tap at the bottom, turn it on. Press the paddle. Notice the water being sprayed onto the floor. So hard floor, minimum amount of water. Carpet, maximum amount of water. So when you're using this machine on a hard floor, as you go forward, all that you need to do is just press that paddle periodically. That's all that you need to do. This model is a single pass machine, so it can be used like a mopping system. So if you're mopping this area, you want to do a quick maintenance clean, then this machine is really good at that. So you just go up one way, you turn, you overlap, come back, turn, you overlap, go forward. And what the machine will do is it will put the water down, it will scrub and pick up as it goes. So it's just one pass. So this size model will do about 900 square meters an hour. So it's pretty fast as a cleaning machine. However, if you need to do a deep clean, then you can go forward and back, and that will give you that deeper clean on the surface. And that is for hard floor cleaning. So as you go forward, you just periodically press the paddle, just to put a small amount of water down onto the floor. Carpets, you need maximum amount of water. So if you're operating in that single pass mode, where you're just going forward, turning, overlap, coming back, turning, overlap, and so on, this needs to be pressed all the time. So you've got maximum water being thrust into the carpet. The brushes are rotating and agitating, using the water that's going down, and it's also removing that water and putting it into the rear tray at the back of the machine. Again, if you're working in an area where it needs a deeper clean, forward and back, forward and back. But in that instance, maybe it's putting plenty of water going forward, releasing, and then coming back to pick that water up. However, if you've got an area which is really very heavily soiled, I'm thinking maybe outside of a kitchen in a restaurant or a refectory at a school where they perhaps have Flotex carpets, so the kitchen is here and this area here is full of grease, where the chefs and the waiters are walking the grease in from the kitchen onto that area. You're going to need plenty of water there. So I would go forward and back with the paddle down so that you're saturating that area. Once it's saturated, release the trigger and then go over several times to try and get as much of that water and grease and dirt out of that particular area of the kitchen. If you have just one stain as you're doing that single pass and the machine is struggling with that just one stain, then that simply means it needs more water. So you can go up to that stain and apply more water with the jet, or you can turn the tap off, release the sleeve, turn the tap on and flood that stain. By the time you come back to the machine, you turn the tap back on by the way, you come back to the base of the machine, that excess water has softened up the crust of the stain, and then just make sure that you go in different directions, making sure both brushes go over that stain to remove. So single pass, over to your right, bring it back, you press, you release. You press, you release. You turn, you come back. You turn, you go forward. If it's a carpet, you press. All the time, maximum water going down onto the carpet. If you're looking at edges, go up to your edge. Here, just lean in. Press those bristles right into the edge of the skirting board. Always make sure you're in control of the cable. None of this business. It's you that are in control of the cable. If for some reason you lose control of the cable and the machine goes over, emergency stop. Lift the handle up, unplug, release the cable, check, make sure you haven't damaged the cable, everything's okay, plug it in, you reset. More control of the cable, over to your right. You lose control of the handle drops onto the floor. Immediately the machine cuts out. You bring it up to the upright position, OPC switch, lift it up, over, back, over. Stop the machine, just lift the handle into the upright position, and that's it. Thanks for watching.